Good morning, I'm Stephen Hayes of Fruitwise Heritage Apples. We're based in Durley, which is in Old Hampshire, Old England, and filming right now in our orchard, well, one of the sections of our orchard. We have about 800 trees here of all sorts, eating apples, cookers and cider fruit, and this is the first of several tutorials on pruning, how to prune apple trees, something very necessary to keep the tree in balance and lead to optimum growth and fruiting. It's often done very badly. There are many books on the subject, many different styles of pruning. I'm going to show you the style of pruning that I've been using in this orchard for the last 15 years or so. And the first tutorial looks at the structure of the tree, which you need to understand before you understand why you're pruning. If you understand what you're trying to achieve with pruning, you'll do it much better than if you simply follow a formula from a book. Okay, this is a tree of the variety Sunset, which is a mid-season eating apple. More details about what the apple is like, reasons for growing it or not growing it, it can be found on the website fruitwise.net. If you look at the basic structure of the tree, here's the trunk, okay, which is about 2 feet tall, and coming out of the trunk are basically 4 main branches, and these have got smaller branches growing out of them, and they taper down to the twigs where the fruit action is going on. Now let's just take a look at a tree here more closely. This is some of last year's wood, okay. This is a thin bit of wood that grew away from this point, okay. That's the 2007 wood here. Now this is the 2006 wood. It's a little bit older, obviously it's a year older, and it's got fruit buds on it. Can you see these buds here, which are quite large? These smaller buds on last year's fruit, sorry if this isn't focusing perfectly, these small buds will give rise to leaves and extension growth. More growth will come out from here in 2008 hopefully, but these are much bigger buds, and these will produce flowers which if pollinated by bees and other flying insects, they will lead to apples being produced. And further back, this is 2005 wood, 2007, 2006, 2005. This is a 3-year-old wood here. You've got fruit spurs, which we've got. These are systems of fruiting potential, and there is a fruit bud on the end of it. So you've got older wood to newer wood, this year's wood, and the coming year more wood will grow out. Now the purpose of pruning is to keep the tree in balance. Each year the apple tree should produce 3 things. Just to go over it again: new growth, fruit buds on last year's and older growth, and on those fruit buds which have formed in previous years, fruit. So each year you want new growth, new bud being produced, and actual fruit being produced on a mature tree. The purpose of pruning basically is to remove wood carefully in order to maintain the tree in balance. Now we'll look at 1 or 2 of the pruning cuts I've made on this tree as it's been pruned. Again, you see that's been taken out there clean with a saw, and the saw is more important than the secateurs. You'll note that the centre of the tree is open. I'm just going to throw my hat through the centre of that tree, and you can see that there's plenty of space. You can throw your hat through the tree. That's an old saying, and it's true. The tree is kept open-centred in this case. There are other ways of growing a tree, but the open-centred dwarf bush has stood the test of time for a century, and this is probably the most sensible way of growing a tree. Okay, in the next video we'll look at how to decide which pruning cuts you should make.